talk about what's happening in the commercial vehicle space. And who better than Vinod Aggarwal, the MD and CEO at Volvo Eicher, joining in on the show right now to talk about exactly that. Great to have you then, Vinod, on the show. Welcome to ET Now once again. I want to talk about FY25 and what you actually, or rather how you see this year playing out. Because you started off the fiscal with high expectations for the CV industry, but the actual performance kind of fell short. Tell me, what are your projections now for FY26? Because you've been indicating a modest 3 to 5% growth. Are you sticking with that range, or do you think you'll be able to better it?
First of all, I think FY25 is still to get over. So we are in the last month, and last month always brings sometimes some surprises. So therefore, we are keeping our fingers crossed that March month can be a bumper month. So therefore, that is still to happen. We are looking forward to it. And February was relatively better for the industry. It had a growth, some growth in 3.5 ton and above. Even though the earlier months there was more drop, but February was better. And March also, the base is very high because last year March also was very good. So therefore, till February end, 3.5 ton and above industry is almost flat. It is at same level as was the last year YTD February. And that flat, of course, is based on the good growth in buses and in exports. We had some drops in heavy duties and in the light and medium duty trucks. Now, you asked about financial year 26. 26, we are expecting it to be better than 25. And we are expecting growth in the single digit only. Basically, there are two reasons why the growth is looking less. One is that migration to the higher tonnage trucks is likely to continue. So therefore, you will continue to see more and more sales in the 55-ton tractor trailers, which also impacts the numbers. The second is there is some migration that has started happening in this year, and it will continue next year also, towards the dedicated freight corridors. Like we see good movement of passenger cars, which is happening now also through the trains or the rakes. So therefore, that is also taking away some industry or some growth which is there in the industry that is going towards the movement by this dedicated freight corridors. And then, of course, there was some slowdown in the current year because of the initial first 6 months impact of elections, etc. Next year, those type of things are not there. So therefore, next year we will see better focus on infrastructure, better spends from Government of India, and we are expecting that next year will be better than the current year.
Say that you will grow at least in double digit.
It is very difficult to say double digit or single. I said that some growth is moving towards the higher tonnage and also to the higher tonnage is not reflected in the numbers. And even though the value wise that price of that truck is higher than the single or the rigid trucks. And then of course, if some migration happens to the rail, that to that extent also numbers come down. So therefore, I think we will be happy if it is stronger single digit.
Mr. Aggarwal, let's talk about EV penetration, because especially in the bus category, that's rising quite rapidly. It's already at 5%. Tell me, how is it that you at Volvo Eicher are planning to capitalize on this shift which is currently at play?
Buses are doing very well. In fact, this year the first 11 months the growth has been for the industry 18%, and we are already at the peak level. First 11 months. The bus industry has been around 82,000, and earlier peak in 18-19 also it was around 65-66,000. So therefore, buses are already growing very fast. There is huge numbers coming from schools and staffing segment, because you see more and more people coming back to offices. So there is more need of staff buses. Schools also are like in the B category towns or C category towns also, there is good demand for school buses, because more and more schools are getting into transportation of children by better means of transport rather than by three-wheelers or by smaller vehicles. So therefore, you see good demand for school buses. And intercity bus market also has become stronger. Then the state transport undertakings are also now started replacing. This year, we have seen good demand from the state transport undertakings, which will continue in the next year as well. So therefore, bus demand will continue to be very strong.
Okay. Now, if I look at companies, they are saying the capacity utilization is 75 to 80%. So even if demand comes back, can I say that it may not get captured in CVs and EVs? Why? Because the companies first would see uptick in capacity utilization. When the demand comes, then they will start ordering. The problem is private sector capex, which was expected to grow, is not growing. There are a lot of other factors which, in a sense, is keeping the whole logistics demand subdued.
I would say capex nevertheless is happening, because first of all, there is a lot of capex happening in the new technologies. Every company in the auto sector is investing in the alternate fuels, in the electric vehicles, in hydrogen fuel, and in the new models. When we are developing a lot of new modern trucks and buses, it takes a lot of money. And then a lot of investment is happening towards PLI or Atmanirbhar Bharat. If we are indigenizing more and more parts here, which are currently imported, if you are putting in more investments for electric vehicles, and like for example, in VECV, we have created a separate plant for our small commercial vehicle unit. We have entered the small commercial vehicle unit, sub 3.5 ton. So for that, we have set up a new plant. We have spent almost 600, 700 crores on that plant in the current year. So like that, each company is having plans. And I would say, we can't say that the capex is not happening from the private sector. Private sector is spending money on capex. However, at the same time, the capex spend always happen based on the economics and based on the if there is going to be the good payback. But at the same time, the capex is happening, like in our components business as well. The exports are going up. Our exports for components, that is increasing. And we are making investments for creating new capacities for exports. So I would not say that the capex is not happening.
Where is finally the puck going to move for EVs in CVs? So I'm phrasing it slowly so that our viewers understand it. For in the CV sector, what is the trend for EV CVs?
EVCs for the commercial vehicles, if you look at the trend started migrating in buses first. Buses till now, we have the entire industry has sold around 12,000 electric buses, and around 15,000 electric buses are currently under delivery. So those orders are there with the companies, and those are still to be delivered. So that 15,000 buses, likely they should get delivered next year. Then we are expecting more tenders to come in from April onward. We were expecting some tender to come in this month also, but I think it will not come now. Therefore, next year will be a better month for the electric buses. As far as the trucks are concerned, I think sub 3.5 ton, where we have also introduced electric truck, and we have entered this segment with the electric truck first. We have not yet introduced the diesel truck. It's first electric. So there, like for example, we have already started selling in from VECV. Last month we sold 23 trucks. This month we should sell likely around 100 trucks, and then of course next year we have better plans to sell more electric trucks, 3.5 ton and 3 ton. And other than that, in the industry also, some companies are already selling these 3.5 ton, 3 ton trucks. And then of course, sub 2 ton trucks also, electric trucks are getting sold. We are also selling 6.5 ton truck. And then there is good traction happening in the in some of the higher tonnage categories. For example, in the in the tractors or in the tippers, but the numbers are still very small. At the same time, I'm expecting good migration happening towards LNG trucks. LNG is getting better visibility, and there is better efficiency. It's a cleaner fuel, and there is a lot of interest which has been shown by the customers in the LNG trucks. So you will see more LNG trucks getting sold next year in the alternate fuel category in the higher tonnage trucks. So I think there will be good transformation happening next year.
Mr. Aggarwal, so good having you on the show today and getting your thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.